Welcome everyone to this week's Stopping the Violence webinar. It's a very unique webinar this week. We have a wonderful guest as usual. My name is Reverend Zachary James Oliver, and I'm the host of this weekly webinar titled "Stopping the Violence in America." Originally, the program started with understanding that with the motive that we need to deal with gun violence. There's so much gun violence in America, but not only in America, on a worldwide scale. Whatever happens in America also translates in around the world. However, we realize through bringing on extraordinary guests with extraordinary, what we call best practices, we learned that they have best practices, that it's not only the guns, but gun is an inanimate object, and it takes people to pick up that particular gun to harm another person. So what are the root causes of those that causes people to pick up something that will destroy, hurt, kill another person? And it's been a very wonderful, excellent journey in learning. There are several root causes that we can deal with, humanity can deal with, if we look more introspectively and look more consciously at what we can do from the perspective of the root causes, why people will pick up guns, pick up whatever object they have, including their hands, to destroy or to hurt someone else. As I said, we've had several excellent speakers, and today I know that we have another. Just wanted to let everyone know that Dr. Madeline, who has been with us from the beginning, she and I have traveled to Korea, and we're in Korea, so it's like 3 a.m. But because of our dedication to this program, we don't mind. Actually, the sponsor, the one who initiated this webinar to deal with gun violence is what we've affectionately called her Mother Moon, but Dr. Hakshahan Moon, who is the one who motivated us and said, we really need to deal with that gun violence in America. We're here with her because there's some excellent programs that are going on in this next couple of days. Now, our speaker is Kevin Chambers. He is currently serving as a passionate, dedicated community liaison at a vibrant community centered in Wilmington, Delaware. His main focus is to assist individuals, specifically targeting often not seen youth, to reach their fullest potential. With a strong commitment, he is determined to empower others through mind-changing activities, focus groups, physical activities, and workshops. He believes in the power of transformation through community support and collaboration. Through his efforts, he is aiming to create an inclusive environment where everyone in the community has the opportunity to thrive. Although he's faced with significant challenges through his life, he himself have overcome obstacles that at one point were almost impossible. These experiences have fueled his drive and continue to inspire him daily with the resilience and growth in the community. He is a great observer, a great listener, and a transparent community engager. Thank you so much. And his great motto, we love your motto, which is let's stop talking about it and let's do it. God bless you, my brother. God bless you, and welcome to our platform.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please give us a little synopsis of your whole journey and so we can understand how you've played a critical role in your perspective area and dealing with transformations.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Kevin from Wilmington, Delaware. I was born and raised here. I just seen about everything everything that I could possibly see at a young age. Um, of course, got caught up into everything that I had saw earlier on in my life. Always knew that I wanted to do something different, be something different, just become a better version as to who I wanted to be. Um, Seeing those things has kind of given me a different perspective on life. It was just hard coming from a single family home. But I can't make that as an excuse as to why I took the road that I took. It was something that was right there in my face. I was a part of it, and ultimately I became a part of it. So I can't change what was, but I can talk about who I am now and what I've become and how it's shaped me to be who I am today, giving back to our youth, to our community. It was a journey. I've been in the streets. I've recovered from that. As you can see, I'm in a wheelchair. Uh, so my life wasn't always good. It was good when I decided to make that change and transition into something better because I knew there were people out there who needed people like me, people like yourselves, to kind of like change the narrative for us, for people like us coming from this urban communities, and I wanted to be the face of that. So I strove, I did everything I possibly could to be that change for these younger guys, to be that change for our community, because a lot of people looked up to me, but they looked up to me in the wrong way. They looked up to me in a different time of my life, and I want them to see who I am, opposed to seeing who I was. Uh, this journey has been great for me. I've turned everything around. I decided to make a positive change, and this change has brought me here to want to be better for these youth, the better for our community. So I wouldn't change anything that happened in my life. I know sometimes people kind of question why I say that. I wouldn't change it because it shaped and molded me to be who I am today. Because I hadn't had I did decide to change anything, it would probably went a little different. So I'm glad everything worked out the way that it did because it's brought me to where I am today on this stage right here with you guys. Something that I never imagined doing. And I want my young people, my young folk to see that if I can change, and I was knee deep in that urban American experience, if I can change that, then so can you. Because some of our kids are not even fully in it; they just don't know how to get away from it. They've been introduced to it; they just don't know how to get away from it because you have other people, and it's called peer pressure, right? You got these other people saying, well, if you come join us, you can do this, or if you do this, and you can be this. Well, I want to be the first to tell my kids, and like I always do, whether it be in the boxing program that I run, whether it be in the chess program that I run, whether it be in the football program that I run, the baseball program that I run, the basketball, each and every sport, I get my kids to think outside of the box. So again, it's been an amazing journey that I wouldn't change for anything. Um, and I think that if we can kind of put a lid on it early, then we can kind of like stop some of the violence. But I tell my kids all the time, if this is what you want to be a part of, there's always consequences that come with these things, right? You want to be out there, you want to do X, Y, and Z. There's something that's going to come along with it, and you may not like it, right? So a lot of my kids get it, they understand. So introducing these programs to these kids has been monumental because they come in, especially boxing, right? So I just started boxing maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. And everything that they do in the streets, they come there to unwind. They come there to release everything that is inside of them. They come in there to release it. So instead of going out there and picking up a gun or a knife or doing something that would possibly harm somebody, they come in here and I say, come talk to me, let me know what's going on. And they say, well, I'm frustrated and I did this and this is happening. He said this about me. I said, come on, let's go to the gym and hit the bag. And for the most part, it's been working because they are allowing these frustrations, this anger that they have built up inside to go to this bag. Go ahead and hit the bag. The bag is not going to hit you back. The bag, you can't kill the bag. There's nothing that you can do to hurt this bag. So go ahead and take all your anger and all your frustration out on it. And it's become very, very good where I have parents coming in thanking me that I've taken their kids off of the streets and actually given them hope, right? These kids now have hope because they see there is somebody out there that cares, especially in our neighborhoods. In my neighborhood, there's not a lot of parents involved actively with these kids. So this is causing these kids to go out there and try to find a family setting because they don't have it in their own home, right? So I often use my kids. So there was a situation where I talked to a kid and he said, Mr. Kev, all I wanted to do was I knocked on my parents' door and all I wanted to do was ask my mom if she can make me something to eat. And that's all it was. I just want something to eat. And she slammed the door in his face. That's a blow to his ego. That's shattering his pride. It's like, well, this is my mother. If I can't get this love from my mother, then who can I get it from? So the next best thing for them to do is go out into the street, this gang that they want to associate themselves with. They embrace these guys. They love these guys. They give these guys all of these different things that they need or that they want at home that they can't get at home. So they get it in the streets. And this is where they are. They end up in these gangs. And it was all based on I didn't get the love from my mom, so I got it from these guys out here in the street. They show me more love than my family do, so I'm willing to do whatever it takes to show them that I love them back, even if it means taking another life. It's unfortunate, but this is just the way that it goes because I sit down and have one-on-ones with my kids, and they tell me exactly what is going on, and some of the things that I hear, it just excuse me, hold on. I'm sorry, guys. I lost you for a second.
We see you though.
Oh,
You're
I couldn't see you guys for a second.
you probably
But
not can see us. Yes, I thought so.
yeah, so these guys they partake in these gangs and they get clicked up with these guys because they think that it's love. They think that is they're being embraced by something that their parents just wouldn't get them. So this is what results are. This is where they end up. They end up out in these streets doing God knows what because they feel like they're being loved or they feel like they're being heard from a total stranger. And I couldn't even get it from my mom. All I wanted to do was, Mom, I need a sandwich. All I wanted was, Mom, give me some attention. I'm only asking you for a little bit of attention. And most of the time, I didn't even really want the sandwich. I just wanted your attention. I just want to know that you love me. I just want to know that you hear me so that I don't have to end up out there either in this pine box or in somebody's cell for the rest of my life. But this is what's going in my community. I can't speak for all, but I know in my community, this is what's going on. Do we have a solution for that? I don't know because I believe that it just starts at home. I believe that our kids aren't being heard. I believe that they're not given the opportunity to represent who they are as a teen, as a youth. And this is bothering their egos. This is messing with these kids because it's like this is the person that birthed me. This is the person that I came from, and I can't even get 1 minute for you to step outside of your room, your comfort zone, and say to me, "I love you. You've done a great job. You are. I see you excelling at everything that you do." But instead, the kid goes ignored, and the first thing he knows to do is I'm gonna go out into the street because I know they're gonna listen to me. They hear me, they embrace me, they love me. So I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna give all my love to them because they're gonna give it to me back. And now, in my mind, I gotta pay them by doing. I gotta go do this for him. I gotta go rob somebody. I gotta go steal this. I gotta go do this because they think it's all about love, and it's not. They're sadly mistaken at the end result, and the end result is jails, institutions, and death, right? And most of these kids don't even know how to handle it. I have a young man right to this day who sits there and he calls me regularly and says, I don't know how I'm going to do this time. I said, well, this is something that you should have thought about when you picked it up, when you walked out that door, and when you decided to go wherever you went, and when you decided to pull that trigger. Those should have been the thoughts that you would that should have been immediately run across your mind when you picked all of those things up and when you decided to go make the move that you made. But now here you are in this situation, in this 8x8 cell, whatever it is, this 8x8, 10x10 cell, and now you have nothing but time to think about every move that you made from the very beginning, from getting into it all the way to pulling the trigger. So now you have this middle space like, what am I going to do with my time? It's nothing that you can do. You can self-build, you can try to educate yourself. I don't know if it's going to help, but here you are, you're stuck. You're in this situation that you can't get out of because you took somebody else's life. Not only that, you took yours, you took your parents, and you took your entire family's life because everybody loses, right? Everybody loses when these things cap. So I don't know where we go from here. I think we're here. I'm gonna speak for here. I think here we're at a standstill because it's constantly going, and the kids are getting younger and younger. Every time these situations occur, these kids are now they're 10 instead of 13. Now they're 9. They're picking up guns at 9. They're the vulgar language that I hear. Oh man, I'm gonna kill this guy. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. At 9 years old, you already have it in your mind. You have reservations in your mind that when I get 13, or even when I get 10, I'm gonna go kill somebody because I gotta get this street cred because I gotta prove to my family that accepted me out in the street that I am who I say I am. So I got to go do what I have to do in order for me to continue to be loved or for me to continue to get that attention that I so desperately seek from my parents. So, I mean, I don't know.
Thank, thank you. Thank you. Can you see us? Or did you lose us again?
Yes, now okay.
Yeah. So I think you've said a multitude of things in a very short amount of time. One of the things that has arisen in my heart and my mind that when you say ego, yes, but I think when you predicate it again over the ego was the power of a lack of love.
Yes.
And what transpires or manifests when people feel lack of love, it becomes a dangerous thing. And almost in, not from a perspective of hurting someone, but from the perspective of appreciating their pain that it's coming from. Also, in the environment that many of them are in many ways, it's their fault and it's not their fault. You have to pay the consequences, but also you realize that it's just a plethora and a bunch of layers of root causes in their particular home or environment or space. And you said several times, I don't know if there's a solution. I believe that there is a solution. And I didn't share in my opening speech, opening remarks, why I said best practices. I realize that there's a lot of best practices out of individuals like yourself that have been silos, on your own, that have been out there making a difference in just your little space, but you've been making a difference.
Yes.
You've come up with, which many people have come up with, what are the root causes of that particular individual, that particular community, but how do we begin to solve for? You've come to a point where you can put a Band-Aid over it, and you've arrested some of it, but it still needs some more cleaning out. You can't put a Band-Aid on a wound that needs stitching. And so how do we bring the real stitching to those wounds that you had shared us with. And this is why we wanted to bring the best practices on a national level. What I hear again from you was ringing in my head while you were speaking. We need a national campaign
Yes.
to deal with those mothers that shut the door in their son's face. Why does she do it?
Yes.
She's a victim of something as well.
She just may be a victim of the same thing. May have gone through that herself. And it just a tripled effect. It may have been going on for generations. Who knows? We don't know that, right? We're just left with the mess to clean up. And I know, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to try and clean it up. I probably won't be here by the time it does get cleaned up. But while I'm here, I'm going to do the very best that I can to try to keep these kids out of danger and out of harm's way, even if that's giving them all the love that I have. I mean, that's the only thing that I can do, because I know that these kids really, really need genuine love that they aren't receiving from somewhere else. And the best thing that I can do, the best antidote that I can give is to give them my love. And that's what I've been doing for these past few years. And I think it's working, but it's still so much more to go. It's still, because if I take 10 kids, you still have thousands more. But it's a
But
start for me. It's a win for me. I feel like it's a win for me because I've taken 10, and these 10 have nothing but praised everything that we do, everything from the beginning, because I showed them this love and I showed them what it looks like and feels like to be loved from a total complete strangers. I didn't know these kids from anywhere, right? But as I started to embrace them, as I started to listen to them and love them with everything that I am, it just, something just registered in them that says, he's the guy. He's the one that cares about us. He's the one that I know if I knock on his door, he's going to come out and give me milk and so much more, because he cares about me enough to say, what do you need? How can I help? I'm here to help you. I want to assist you in any way that I possibly can. What do you need? And I'm doing that for as best as I possibly can for myself and my team. We are doing that for these kids. But what about these other 999 million? What could we possibly do? Well, my answer to that is keep going the way that we are, and hopefully uh, those the rest of the world will kind of catch on, and the people that do the work that we do will kind of see something, because we all have to help each other out. We all have to give each other the information. You may have something that I don't have. I may have something that you don't have, and the likes for everybody on this call, we can share and kind of just spread the love everywhere we possibly can. We may not touch everybody, but we're going to touch somebody, and that's what matters to me the most.
so I agree with you. So this is what, totally agree with you. This is what our platform has become, to bring those like-minded people like yourself. There's a whole bunch of them like you. How do you bring them on together, those silos together, that have similar understandings and making a national impact, right? So we can catch the 990 other millions. You know, I think of this, my brother Kevin, uh, I think of what, like the news media, right? So if my father used to always say, I come from the 60s, so the percentage was down a little bit. So they would say 40% of these people in these at-risk communities come from single parent homes and no fathers in the home. And they go on the news and say this and say this and say this. But what if the those particular media instruments and institutions will go on the news daily and say 60% do. Let's do documentaries on the 6%, 60% that does. So the other 40 who's watching the documentary have some sort of reference point that you have become. You see, a reference point. So when I say a national impact, we need a national campaign where you and many others are highlighted, because 990 other million other one might be watching and say, oh, he's the one, that's the one. There are people outside of these boxes that we are forced to stay in these communities with no reference point. You know, now I know I can come out of that box before I make that life-changing mistake that hurts others. So I really appreciate all that what you're saying, and you're 1000% right, because I've dealt with some people as well. And I do remember too, and I said sometime on this program that I've dealt with ex-offenders, or those who were tough guys, some tough, if you just get them alone for a second, they bow that little head.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, that little head.
Absolutely.
You say, why I feel so like this? Because I miss my daddy. I wish I knew my daddy.
Yes.
I mean, the whole spirit change, right? The sound change, right? So that touches my heart. And you have just shared with us that it's not only about ego, but it's about what God created all humanity to receive, and that is love.
It's love.
It's power. Love is powerful.
Love is
And
definitely
that those ones that we throw away, that we call, these kids are not born in it, born evil.
yes.
Right? They're not born evil. We're talking about, that's why I always say, what are the root causes that cause them to get to that point? And the nation needs to deal with it, not as victims, not as victimizers, but victims of something else as well. And let's, on a national level, begin to solve that problem, on the level. So I just want to thank you for being that great listener, and how God has worked through you to transform those lives that God has allowed you to touch in your space, that has everything to do with the space of the 99 other million that are out there. And you will be that catalyst. So I want to open up the floor. Thank you so much. I know you have more to share with us.
Thank you.
I want to just ask you to, I see some hands up. People are ready to share and ask you questions. Let's start. I can see that before I get to Dr. Madeline, I wanted to talk to Reverend Daryl Franklin, who just waving his hand. I like him.
Because he's going to have a meltdown if he don't say what he needs to say. So I'll step to the side and let him have it.
Hey, Dr. Alexander, I'm just trying to follow your immaculate example. But thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Reverend Oliver, God bless you. Thank you. And also, our dear brother, thank you so much for being a wonderful expression of glorifying God. Brother Kevin, thank you so much for doing that. You've been glorifying God by being an example of God's hope and God's love to these youth. And I really appreciate you for doing that, because see, we can say God, but it's our responsibility to be his instrument, and it also, in your conversations and in the conversations that we already had isn't it something? You see all these violence and how quick they are to show the Black people committing all these crimes.
Yes.
How come the news media is not showing people like you who are doing stuff like this? And it's got me, it has me triggered to think, oh yeah, okay, this is by design. They want to put this out there to assume that we're all like that. But the bottom line is that you hit right to the core. It's about love, and what, and Reverend Oliver was saying, if you look and you are determined and you are committed to see God's love in people, and they feel that you are genuine about that, people naturally rise up to that occasion. And they start the process of just sharing their heart And that's so fulfilling. And you know, and I just wanted to ask you, you know, uh, Brother Kevin, what was that point that caused you to turn around and become an activist, to really change your life story and make that commitment to be able to serve others? What was that point that really drove you and made you compassionate to serve and help liberate and transform others?
So, so I have just one son. I have many girls, but I just have one boy. One boy. I was just blessed with one son, and that to me was, I think that to me was the turning point, because I know we don't get a lot out of our females. We get a lot of stuff. We don't get a lot out of our females as much as we do out of our males, right? We know that the males are more likely to get into something that's ultimately going to lead to something, right? So, with that being said, I didn't want that for my son. I didn't want him to be a part of that percentile, that 99 percentile. I didn't want him to be out here toting guns and with the long hair and being stereotyped because he had his pants down his butt. I just didn't want that for my son. And my son is now 17 now, and he's sports, he's all around athlete as I was myself. Um, he doesn't engage in anything that he's a video kid. He plays video games all day. I take that over anything else. I take that over him being outside doing anything. I know where you are. I know you're
Right.
safe. You're not doing anything to hurt anybody because you're playing a video game. You can't hurt the video game. And he says to me that as I was coming up, I heard a lot about you. I heard a lot about you, Dad. And I was like, well, tell me about it. What do you mean? He said, I heard a lot of stuff about you. I heard that you were this guy, you were this guy, you were this guy. And I said, I never want you to be me. I want you to be better than me. I want you to be a better version of who your father is. You may have heard some stories, some may have been true and some may haven't, right? But I don't want you to be anything like me. Totally different. The only thing I want you to follow behind of me is my footsteps is sports. And we are world-renowned athletes. I was probably a product of a number 3 running back in the nation. I was great at football. I was a fantastic basketball player. I was all of those things. You can follow that all day long, but anything outside of that, I don't want you to get involved in. And he looked at me in the eyes and he said, Dad, I don't want to sit in that wheelchair. I don't want to be sitting in that wheelchair for the rest of my life. You look like you in pain some days. And some days I am really, really in pain. But I have to mask all of that stuff. I have to hide my true emotions, because this is, I'm glad I never hope that on anyone in this video. But this is that I have to deal with every single day. And this is what I didn't want for my son. I quickly moved him out of the state when he was 2 years old. We moved out of the state. I got him away from everything that I knew was going to be trouble for him, and I took him to another environment. And now he's able to be himself without the worry of being a part of this gang, being a part of this situation, being a part of this. I didn't want that for my son. So the best thing that I knew to do was just to get him away from everything that I know. I mean, it follows you everywhere. Don't get it mistaken, right? But I know if I take him away from this current environment where I came from, because it's okay, that's Kev, that's his son. Okay, he gonna follow in his footsteps. So I didn't want any of that thing.
Right. You stopped him from getting into the position being stereotyped.
Being stereotyped.
Right.
Right, because I knew that it was going to happen. And then now all I hear, which makes me a proud father today, is, yo, your son good, man. I see him on that football field. He's nice. This makes my heart smile. Knowing that I don't got it. I ain't hearing nobody say, hey man, yeah, I'm sorry about your loss. No, it's not about my loss. It's about my game. I don't want people coming up to be saying, yo, man, hey man, here goes some money for the funeral. Here goes some flowers, man. Let's go to your son's gravesite. That I just didn't want that to be me. I just my son. So I got him out of here, and here we are, and here I am, and every day every time he comes up into the city, he's in another state right now, but every time he comes here, he looks me in the eyes and he pats me on the shoulder and said, "Dad, I love you, man. You're doing a great job. I don't care what they said about you before. I love who you are now." And that just melts my heart. And I know that I'm doing something right, man. So that's why.
Wow. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's powerful.
Uh-huh.
I want to get
And that
to
shows who you are and the fact that you're actually leading by example, you know. And I think it was Wayne asked you what did the PAL stand for, and you told him the Police Athletic League.
Yes.
In that respect, you're in a position to touch the multitudes because every child you touch will actually touch another child. I love the thing about boxing to give them an opportunity to blow off their frustrations. That's part of conflict resolution. You know what I mean? I don't have to take this route, but I have another route that I can take. You're giving them options. So you have sacrificed in such a way that you're putting everyone else before you. However, the sacrifices that you've made, those are things that you have to live with. But look at where you are, where you continue to lead not only your son, but the community. The children that go to the PAL, what are they, 5 to 18 or something like that? When we were, well, yeah, when we were coming up, there were we had raised up my kids. My oldest son was a latchkey kid, so that has been tarnished to the degree because when the community stopped being a community, things begin to fall apart. So those kids having the opportunity to come to the PAL Center to really, in a way, be ministered to be given love, to be shown support, you know, to let them know that they are not alone. I appreciate the work that you do. I send a shout out to my evangelist friend Joellen Edwards as well, who was the catalyst for me to get to you. But I really appreciate the work that you guys are doing in the community. And that's what love look like. Love looks like us lending ourselves to others. And you have a population of young people that are looking at Mr. Kevin, you know, but they are also willing to listen to Mr. Kevin. When I was on the phone with Joel the other day, it had to be like 3 kids came up to the desk. Is Mr. Kevin in? Is Mr. Kevin in? Is Mr. Kevin in? I said, that's good that he has their ear and they're willing to listen and they're learning the difference between making good choices and bad choices. They're learning the difference of respecting not only in the community, but themselves, because that's a powerful piece as well. So again, I thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate all the work that you do. And I pray that you continue to be that constant positive effect for your son.
Thank you.
So thanks for being a good dad. We need those in the community.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Did you want to make some remarks on that, Reverend Kevin? Well, anyway, we want to thank you. There's other people we can keep dialoguing. Thank you, Dr. Madeline. Thank you, Reverend Franklin. Let's hear from James Parker.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Brother Kevin, it's always good to hear somebody in the neighborhood. It's always somebody good in the neighborhood. We actually developed this program called Neighbor Good. Welcome to our Neighbor Good. And it changed everything around because people didn't see the hood part anymore. They kept seeing the good part on there we gave out T-shirts, and we kept pushing it. And some people say, don't you mean neighborhood? No, neighbor good. And within that, it's kind of like Sesame Street when they would say, who are the people in your neighborhood? And they would talk about the mailman, the postman, but they didn't talk about the gangs. They didn't talk about the drug deal. These are our neighborhood, but it's also neighbor good. So, sometimes we can reach the children, but yet they still go into a home that they're being raised by children. So, they just don't cuss freely around you unless they doing that at home, But when they start to respect you, that you ain't, you don't even got to say stuff to them. they'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Parker. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Kevin. I'm sorry." But it comes out because obviously somewhere freely they're saying it. You know, we did a going to each home in the community, finding out what do you want to see this community be, and what is your gifts and talent. You know, to bring people out from their home that know how to play music. Sometimes we invite a guy into the community to play the trumpet, play the trombone, or bands to come out and have the kids come out. And if they want to learn how to do this, a lot of things are sitting right in our neighborhood. A lot of people are there so that Kevin don't got to do all the work. That James don't have to do all the work, but be able to pass this thing on and find out who else has something that's going on inside of them. We asked our therapist, our community therapist, can you do a therapy session in the park? Can you be in the park and while people walk around, they see you are a therapist? I mean, we don't even know who's in our neighborhood until we start going to door to find out who's in your neighborhood, and what their talents are. People, we'll see Miss Benson come out her house and it's all white with gold and all this. And you're like, Miss Benson, what do you belong to? The Eastern Stars? Would the Eastern Stars ever think about coming around in our neighborhood and just walking to show our little girls this or show? See, we got it in our community. We just got to activate it. They're there. They're waiting. We got a group of men that want to be around helping kids in school as well as being in the community, where we hooked up with the middle school and we told them about these men. They connected. Now, if something goes on in school, the school will call these men, and these men are waiting for that kid to get off the bus. And they're walking with that kid and they're talking with that kid, and it changed things around. Listen, it's not the money. Many people think it's the money to give these programs, because once that money run out, where do people go that's doing the program? Oh, they're done because they ain't got money. But to just do it because that's who you are, and it doesn't take much. If we get the people in the community to be doing it, you might only have to be outside for 15 minutes. Then we'll bring another person out. The kids are already there. They're waiting for somebody else. The more people we get, the less time that you have to worry about giving back to your own community. So I just want to thank you for doing what you do. One of many, and just to share with anybody else, hey, this thing is a whole lot easier than you think. I believe I'm on a phone call right now with some people that lived in the neighborhood. If you did something wrong in school, your neighbor will beat you behind, the other neighbor will beat you behind, and then your parents beat you behind. You wasn't just embarrassing your mama, you was embarrassing the neighborhood. But also we had those people that coach baseball, that coach football, that showed you how to work on cars, that showed you how those people exist. And all we had to do is tap into them, and then children got places to go other than the game.
Thank you.
Yes,
Very,
yes.
very powerful.
And that's the whole metrics of this platform is collaboration.
Yes.
Kevin is in Wilmington, you're in Newcastle, but you're servicing the same kids. You know what I mean? Kevin might get some during the day. You might get him in the afternoon or evening from being out in Rose Hill. So that's the beauty of it, the collaboration process that there aren't any silos, but everyone know who everyone is and continue to build and raise and lift up the future. So thank you so much. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you. Well said. The floor is still open. Kevin, did you want to respond?
So yeah, James, you hit on some key points. We do have a lot of talent inside, right? Inside of our own communities. Whether we are afraid to explore those talents, right? Because we just don't know how to go about it. And I've encountered a lot of people who just don't know what to do, who need their hands held in order to explore these challenges, because we possess so much, right? But the avenue in which we take, we're still lost with that. We're still trying to find out how to do that. How do we make this next step? How do we take this next step into getting on this bigger platform, or to getting somewhere in a comfortable space to where that we can say, listen, I got you. As I mentioned earlier, I have you. But being as though we are so afraid to explore that because we're afraid of failure, right? We are afraid to fail. And I know for me, I'm afraid to let these kids down. I'm afraid that if I fail, then they fail, right? And that's not what I want to do. So for me, I have to continue to excel in order for them to excel. So I had to let my every inhibition run wild in order for me to say, psych myself up and say, you know what, man, just go for it. Because I was at a standstill at one point and just, I didn't know, I was at a crossroad. I was literally at a crossroad and I just didn't know which way to go. And then I started to see kids out on the street. I started to see them at very young ages holding a gun, or even if it was something like a toy gun, you pointing it, but you're preparing yourself, you're preparing your mind for what's yet to come. And that toy gun then becomes a real gun. That real gun becomes jail time. That real gun becomes death. That real gun becomes medication. That real gun becomes institutions and all of those different things. So no, that's not what we're going to do. So I don't even allow my kids, if you come in here with a water pistol, you got to take that outside. I don't want you in here with that, because it's a trigger for some people, right? And if you don't know how to challenge that, if you don't know, okay, this is the difference between a real gun and a fake gun, then something is really, really wrong. But I just don't want it in the atmosphere. I don't want it to poison the rest of the kids that we have that absolutely know nothing or want anything to do with that, be it real or fake. I don't want, listen, keep it away. Take that gun outside, do whatever it is you want, but you're not bringing it in here, because what it does is it says to the other kids, oh, he got a gun. And it's not he has a water gun, it's just that he has a gun. He's aiming it, right? And in these young minds that are still developing, it's like, oh, why is he pointing this gun at me, whether it's fake or not? But they really don't know, because this gesture may be something other than this fake gun. You understand what I'm saying? It may be telling a different story than what it is you're doing with this actually fake gun. It might be just saying, hey man, I got my eye on you. You bumped me last week. I got my eye on you. Yeah, it's a water gun, but give me till about I'm 13. It ain't gonna be a water gun no more.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to give you the last word. Dr. Madeline, both James and Kevin has touched on our 12 points that we discussed in our committee. We have a committee that we're putting together, taking all these you're saying, and how to bring it on a national level, these points to make that national impact. So Eastern Star, and the whole concept of people that are waiting they're dormant. It's just our responsibility to undormant them, and then you'll see they're come alive. And they need, as Kevin said, the hands held, and they will come alive. I remember in my earlier days, I don't know, I have this image, and it's in conjunction with both James and Kevin said. In my early days, I lived in the South Bronx. South Bronx was in the 60s, late 60s. It was a rough place. It was like Newark, South Bronx. But there was one point in the projects, there was one point where I've seen there were a community-based organization came to the projects, and so the mothers came, right? And some of the dysfunctional mothers came, and the parents came. But I heard some powerful stuff come out of that. Once you empower them, they become a very powerful catalyst for the change, because they can start speaking a language to the ones out there, but they also will start being the catalyst to help them understand this is not right. We know it's not right. So that brought me to the mind of what I think Kevin, both you and James has said. Once you empower, they come alive. They just didn't know where to go and how to do that. And, they know that there's a support system to help them in what they are, help them in a community. It takes a village to raise a child. And I think we all keep hearing that. So Dr. Madeline, that 12 points I think that we need to show this video to also Dr. Faulkner and VJ to help, shape some of the 12 points that we were thinking. And that 12 points was even within the church. Sometimes in the church buildings, they don't know where to start. So, but if you bring it to them, maybe they'll learn how. There's someone in that church who wants to do something, and they become your partner in that area, and they can bring the power of the church. But if they don't know how to partner with you, then they can't bring that power within that construct. So, floor is still open.
Can I ask this question? Kevin, what's the name of your PAL Center?
Power of Wilmington. We're right in Wilmington. Police athletic
Okay.
league.
We got Garfield Park. I'm
Yeah.
near Garfield Park, PAL Center.
Okay.
All right.
Before you go, James, before you get off here, thank you guys, because this is an introduction if you didn't know. But before you get off here, let's exchange info, man, so we can get together on a few things. All right.
Okay.
That's what we're here for. God
Absolutely.
bless you. Reverend Franklin, I know you. Oh, wait a minute. Larry, let me get Larry first, and then Franklin. And then after that, we will allow Kevin, you to have the
Okay.
last.
I'm so inspired by what you guys are doing. Everybody's contributing, James and Reverend Franklin, and of course Kevin and Madeline. This is a best practices session at a workshop, and reminded me of the very successful thing you put together in Las Vegas, Zegary, and I involving the whole community, how to do that, because it's so clear that this is a community effort, that you can't raise up kids without the family and with the moms and the dads and the best practices that you've put together. And then you've got nutrition is always an aspect of it. There's food, because people are always, kids are born hungry. I mean, they're always hungry, and food is love. And so I hope you guys will put together another national conference soon. Figure out how to do it inexpensively and gather more often than once a year. That's what I would love to see. Thank you guys very much. Thank all of you very much for everything you're doing.
Thank you so much, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay, Reverend Franklin, I want you to have the last word. I mean, say what you say, share, and then Kevin, I'm gonna have you have the last word.
Oh, I saw that I was muted. Sorry about that. Yeah, everybody, and Brother Kevin, thank you so much, because what you are addressing is to stop that scenario that we see when we see somebody who has been convicted of a murder or a serious crime, and you're stopping that scenario at its root. Because when I see somebody's mugshot like that, who may be on death row or other different types of things that person has horribly committed, immediately I think he was once upon a time somebody's little child, or she was somebody's little child.
Mm-hmm.
When that person was a baby at one time in that person's life. And when that person was that baby, all the expectations of the world were given to that person. How did that happen? And that's a tragedy. But then what I see, what all of you are here, and Brother Kevin, what you are doing, you're stopping. You're creating the germination, and all of you all here are creating that foundation to minimize this type of circumstance to happen. And I just want to ask you both, Brother Kevin and I believe Brother James, you touched on that, about that funding element, so that you will be able to work on that. Because I know Brother James kind of said something that, once you get people attached to the mission, well, then they'll come and they'll be willing to volunteer, right? But at the same time, is there a step-by-step procedure to be able to initiate the funding, which is actually necessary? Is there a type of platform, um, that you usually go by, some type of format to be able to create that momentum of spiritual support or financial support?
Well, I'll speak to that. So, given we are a 501c3, it's very, very difficult to get funding for certain things. Now, I'm not pointing a finger or placing this blame game, but it just seems very hard for us because we are in this environment. It's very hard to get funding for certain things. So I try to do a stop the violence campaign. I try to do um, a bullying, and we try to get funds because you know that when you do grants, there are grants for just about everything, and then it's just like we're always getting turned down for these grants for whatever the reason. I can't say because I don't know definitively why we're being turned down, but I just know that we are being turned down. And then I want it so bad that most of the time I come out of my own pocket just to fund things because I want to see the continued growth. I want to see these kids have a better shot at life opposed to, just out there running reckless and doing things that's going to ultimately get them either killed or in jail for the rest of their life. So I don't mind taking a few $100s out of my pocket to uh, do a chess program or go on a trip to New York. Something as small as just taking these kids out of their environment is monumental. So if it happens to be $1,000, I'll save that $1,000 up and I'll get these kids on this trip because it's going to be an experience that they're going to remember and say, you know what? I remember Mr. Kev not knowing what he jeopardized or what he put at risk to take us on this trip. And if that caused me I can't pay my car insurance, then I'll sacrifice my car insurance because I want to get these kids out of this neighborhood and out of this environment, even if it's for a day, just so they can have this experience to say, you know what, I'm very appreciative that you took the time to do that for us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, Reverend Franklin, thank you so much for that question. We're actually at the end. I would like to, James, if you have a quick question or a quick statement, and then we can come to our close. I would like Kevin to just share just briefly just some closing remarks. But thank you for that answer because that's a very pertinent question in the funding piece. And just before Kevin does come, I would just like to say that this is why we need to bring forth appreciation for other things that a funder might not understand. But if we have it on a national impact or national understanding, then that becomes the grant worthy, if you will. And this is what our platform is trying to provide. What is really maybe a different paradigm of what is a grant worthy that is on a national impact that can create a national impact that it's out there. So yeah, I want to thank you so much. But James, did you want to just say one word or two?
I just wanted to talk about the financial piece. We have no financial piece. We don't do anything with money. We don't look for money. We look for people. That's our value. Value is in the people and sustainability. What comes with that is so many people see the program that they want to give to it. They want to give because they see what we're doing every day. So they will ask us, what do y'all need? Oh, we need tents. What do y'all need? We need vans. What do y'all need? We need a building. What do y'all need? And they just come through. We have talked in county council meetings and things of that nature, just showing the county council how good our neighborhood is. And they come out as soon as we're finished. They come up to us and say, give us a call. We have some money for you. But we never ask for money. We just do the work. And they see the people that give the money know that it takes money to do things. So when they see our work and we're not asking for money, they know money's needed and they will come and say, here's the money. So you'll never find our name, our program on any grants or anything like that. But they know us. and they'll start targeting. Yeah, definitely, Kevin, we need to talk, because I'm telling you, you go to that county council meeting, you'll get some funding, and you're not asking for the funding. You're talking about the program you have. They will offer the money because you don't ask for it. The county exec said at my retirement party, he said, let me tell you something about James. James never came and asked me for any money. And because he never came and asked me for money, I chose to give him money. Remember, what's the name? Solomon didn't ask God for money. He asked him for wisdom. And look what he got. So it's just the wisdom that we bring to the table. Money's going to come. So that's
Thank you very much.
So Brother Kevin, Brother James, just know this was a divine appointment.
Absolutely.
So do not lose sight of it.
Absolutely.
I don't take no part in any other one but divine.
But anyway, yeah, I believe that as I want to concur with Dr. Madeline, that this is my point exactly. When you bring the best silos, and you bring them together, this is what is transpiring. And we just want to do it on a national impact, because what you do is going to impact California. What California does is going to impact both of you and Delaware. So we're just happy. Thank you, Dr. Madeline. You're correct. Kevin, just a few last words.
So it's really brief, but it's called Mentally Hungry, right? And I give my kids a printout of this daily. It says, from the neck down, very few people are worth more than a few $100s, right? From the neck up, there is no limit to what an individual is worth. So what do? We feed the part of us below the neck every day. How often do we feed our minds? The part that has no limit to its value, earning, and happiness potential. Most of us used to feed accidentally or occasionally, if it's convenient or we do have anything else to do. The excuse we often give is our lack of time. This is ridiculous. If you have time to feed the low income of your every day, doesn't it make sense that you should take the time to feed the part which has no ceiling to it? Start feeding yourself from the neck up every day. You'll be surprised of the weight loss from the neck down.
Thank you.
I like that.
Very good.
We love that. So I want to thank you for coming on, and we will, with you and James, as we come to our conference and some we're just have a little gel of a community. We're going to expand that committee. So we just love you to be part of it. But what we really want you to be to answer Larry Moffat's question. We have a set date for another national conference, and it's July 18th, 19th, 20th, I believe it is. Around that time, we'd love to have you to come. We'll keep in touch with you to share your hope, strengths, and what God has done for you as well. So we're just very happy that we've had this conversation with you. One of the reasons why, we hear Stop the Violence. There's Stop the Violence. I was invited to speak at another Stop the Violence. But I think our operative word that distinguishes us is best practices. See, so we have to begin to honor what are those best practices out there, and how do we become a collaborative, a catalyst to bring those a national collaboration. That's what we want to do. We're not here to reinvent the wheel, because the wheel has already been invented, and you already proved it. James have already proved it. How do we just become that catalyst? And I think that's what Mother Moon wants to do as well, and why she pushed the program. How do we become a catalyst to make a national impact that would change the paradigm of violence in America, that will also change the paradigm of violence across the world? So we want to thank you, my brother, for coming on. You were wonderful. Thank you, thank God for your son. And I know that he's going to be a great catalyst for his son and his son's son's son. So you will be a legacy.
Amen.
And that would also play a critical role in stopping the violence as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Dr. Madeline. I'll see you.
What, in an hour?
In another hour somewhere downstairs in the lobby. But God bless everyone for coming on, and We'll see you next week.
Yes, God bless. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Mr. Bishop.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
all for being
Thank
here.
you.
Okay.
Hey,
Thank
what
you.
was the date again?
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
July
Bye-bye,
18th.
everyone.
July
One and all.
18th through the 20th.